What do you think of when you hear the word carnivore? Do you think about nature's most savage beasts? I think about humans. Despite popular controversy happening at the moment, humans were biologically developed for eating meat. And there's tons of literature proving this. Think about it. What other species has a diet like ours, where you can eat anything? Most species don't eat anything. They have a specific diet they stick to all the time, year round, no matter what. Species, their entire livelihood as them being a species, they've had one food group, one diet, one special thing. Humans are no different. Fortunately, science and research can back us up. But wait a minute, everyone has their carnivore story, and I am with mine as well. In your 20s, you're supposed to be vibrant, healthy, vitality-driven, just being silly, reckless man, all that stuff. I unfortunately had to go through 3 painful surgeries that I'm not going to go into just quite yet, but after every single one, I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, diet and recreationally wise. So after every surgery, I put on weight, I didn't look good, I had to change this. And on my 3rd and final surgery, I weighed in at 225 pounds, didn't look the way I needed to, so I actually decided to give Vince Gironda's meat and egg diet a challenge, or a try. Now, I've always known about that. I've always known eggs are healthy. I've always known meat has creatine, meat has choline, meat has, your vitamin B12, your carnitines, all that stuff. I always knew that in the back of my mind, and I've never not eaten red meat. But this was the time I was putting it to the test that if meat and eggs specifically could do the trick, would they do the trick? And here's that story. So I went from the 225 down to about 196. So I lost 30 pounds. A lot of it being fat and some of it being muscle, but that was due to different type of training I was doing that wasn't as optimal or effective. So as my mind developed, I don't know if anyone else are readers, but usually one author leads you to another one, no matter what they're writing. You wouldn't necessarily say Vince Gironda's an author, but he was an author. So he led me, just instinctively, he didn't mention it, but he led me to reading Paul Saladinos' book, The Carnivore Code, which I have right here. So he put it quite simply, that we have a code, kind of like a computer system. You can't just enter any computer system into any software, right? An Apple won't run Windows, for example. Just like humans, eating plants doesn't fit right in our code. It just starts throwing us malware and all this nonsense. So it was really good to read that certain chemical compounds that plants use as defense chemicals can invade our body, our DNA, our mitochondria to really kind of screw with us. So this was more of the science behind it, and Vince Gironda was more the bro scientist behind it, where meat and eggs get you jacked and lean, and I loved that. Another book Vince Gironda mentioned, and if you read all of his articles and his works, he mentions a lot of books. And I got 2 books based on his recommendation. One being Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. So this book covers Weston A. Price's experiment where he goes around the world and documents every culture's diets and how their face and mouth looked. So he documented that eating a non-human diet, being things that aren't natural specifically, or around where you grew up, on the map, on the globe, can ruin your teeth and deform your face. And he found that was the case everywhere on the planet. Everywhere, if you weren't eating a species-related diet, your teeth and face were effed up. Okay? No animal has deformed teeth, messed up arches in their teeth, braces. They don't have that stuff. They usually don't have dental caries. Why do humans? Why are we the only species that gets this stuff? Does no one else think about that stuff? And as a kid, I feel like I was always riddled with cavities, right? And then they would. I was never a sugar eater, really. I didn't crave the sugars and sweets. So what the hell was happening? You know. But I was eating corn chips. I was eating seed oil. I was doing all that stupid stuff. So it's like, where's the misconception? Where's the lie? Why are we not being told this stuff? Okay. So this book was so eye-opening because teeth health became so important for me for some reason. Tooth health is so important because it's the first piece of your digestion. It's the first defense and active part of your digestion tract. People without teeth don't have a good life. I'm just going to flat out say that. If you lose your teeth early, you're going to suffer for it. Your nutrition is going to tank. Come to think about it, Vince Gironda mentioned 3 books that I have and I had to get. So, this one is Not by Bread Alone by Vilhjalmur Stefansson. I may have butchered his first name. We know how this goes with me. This gentleman studied the Inuit tribe of northern Canada, I think some in Alaska, and he stayed with them for, I think, over 9 months or so. Like, he stayed with them a long time, maybe longer than that. And they don't eat plants. Do you think in the tundra plants are just available? No, they heavily relied on animal fats, seafood, and fish eggs. In fact, so much so with fish eggs, that's all they fed their babies. Didn't really use mother's milk. He said sometimes they did, but mainly they just plopped fish eggs in their mouth. And fish eggs actually have all the micronutrients a baby needs, all the DHA, EPA for their brain development. Every essential nutrient is actually in fish eggs. Every essential nutrient is actually in chicken eggs. And another book Vince recommended was Food is Your Best Medicine. And this doctor fully believed that the cure is worse than the disease. Okay? So, pharmaceutical involvement is worse than the disease, and you can use food to help your body first and foremost. Fully agree with that. Fantastic book. Now, he does utilize plants, but he utilizes the least toxic ones, and he cooks the hell out of them, being soups and broths. All 4 of those books are a fantastic read. They change the way your mind thinks. And okay, something is so good, what makes the opposite bad? You know, that's good logic, right? To say, oh, X thing is awesome, Y is the opposite not good. So I started doing research on that. And toxic superfoods helped me realize that all the healthy so-called plants that we're forced to consume by programming and the propaganda of the media aren't all it, right? Like, all of these superfoods have horrendous plant toxic chemicals that just throw your body into a haywire mess. Being oxalates. The book is really heavy on the oxalates. And it does discuss the plant foods that have the most. So if you have to have your freaking cups of almonds a day to keep your cholesterol away, then you can do that. But she does recommend, if you need them, lower them, because it will improve health. And that book is by Sally K. Norton, and she's on YouTube as well. Paul Saladino and Sally are on YouTube, but everyone else I talk about is dead. They're from the 20s, 30s, 40s. That's another point. None of this is new. None of this is new information. This has been documented, researched hundreds of years ago. And this is back when fruits and vegetables are actually better fruits and vegetables than we have now. The fruits and vegetables that we have now have been bioengineered the crap out of, so that way they're sweeter, bigger, less seeds. It's not the same fruit and vegetables that even your grandparents grew up with, and it certainly is not the same fruits and vegetables that our ancestors grew up with. Literally, chemically, physically impossible. And here is the concern I hear all the time. We have been eating plants the entire time humans have been around, so why are they toxic? Or if this pro bodybuilder or strength athlete is on plants only, doesn't that prove that plant foods work? No, that doesn't prove plant foods work. That proves that that athlete or that specific person worked his butt off to build muscle and build strength. The diet, as far as the diet goes, irrelevant. Because you know how many unsuccessful bodybuilders and strength athletes do plants only? It's a lot. Okay? It's a lot. And eventually, all those people go back to some kind of animal food product. It just is what it is. And then the other topic is, well, I switched to plants only and my health improved. Yeah, probably, because you know what else is a freaking vegan meal? Water and Oreos. Okay? So you can cut out the processed junk and add in plant material, and yes, your health markers are going to improve because you got rid of all the processed nonsense. The same thing applies with the carnivore. If you've been eating junk plus meat and you get rid of the junk and only eat meat, yeah, your health markers are going to improve. So it's not a battle of I'm right because I'm choosing plant or I'm choosing meat. It's a battle of we need to stick together and get rid of processed junk across the board. I'm not against anyone doing either one of them. I don't care really what you do. I'm just sharing my experience as to what I think is correct. But you do what you got to do. If you're cutting out the processed crap that all of our USA land is used for freaking farms, then good for you. All of our farms are corn and soybean oil owned by big mega whoever's, and all of that stuff is going to Frito-Lay and all this junk. So let's get rid of that. And that brings me to my next point of regenerative farming. I've been to regenerative farms before, and they are freaking amazing. We need to get our plains and all of our farmland back to cows, bison, ruminant animals. They help make land thrive. And that also brings me to another point, is we waste millions, almost billions of gallons of water on raising almonds and avocados in California. And you don't think that kind of attributes to some things going on in California? They use so much of their resources for bioengineered almonds and avocados. Almonds that aren't good for you anyway, in my opinion. And avocados that have been so bioengineered that their pit is this big, when their pit used to be like this big and like there was this much flesh in an avocado. Get real, man. And you guys think that cows you build up so much methane? Whatever, man. The resource problem comes with water. I don't care that cows fart and they produce methane, okay? We have bigger problems and bigger fish to fry. We got to fix our land. And fixing land means more ruminants all over the board. I think we need to get our farmland back to real agriculture, and that is regenerative farming with ruminant animals and chickens picking up the mess. Come at me with this. This leads me to morality. Some individuals don't like that killing something means that you stay alive. Some individuals don't like that you have to kill something to maintain your life. And it's just the way things are on planet Earth with the animals that are here that have evolved. So over 60% of the planet's animals have to rely on eating another or scavenging the rest. 60%. That includes us. So the majority of biological life on the planet relies on other creatures for survival. Didn't we all learn this in like 4th grade of the chain of ecosystems, biological chain there? This doesn't mean every other life form is not as important. It just means everything has their place. There's typically more herbivores around. There's typically more insects around. That's just the reality of that pyramid, you know? I wish I had the complete omniscience to tell you why that is. I don't know why. Darwin might know why. But it's just the reality of it. It's just the reality of our nature and where we are now. That's what we've studied. That's what we visually observe. So it's true. So my morality has never been questioned. I don't feel bad that I have to use another creature's life to sustain my own. And most of the people would have to agree with that. And this does come from a place of caring, because I do have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune issues in my family. And I don't want to see myself go through that. And Jordan Peterson is an excellent person to listen to on why it helped him and his family battle these chronic illnesses and diseases too. So they're always a good resource to look into. If you've watched me and you haven't watched him, go watch him. It's Jordan Peterson. I actually have one of his books too, but he's an amazing advocate for carnivore diet. And there's so many people you could listen to. Check them out. Everyone's got their own. 80% of it is all the same. It's not that complicated. But a lot of people add in their own little thing to it. And that's what makes ideas and cultures grow. So I'm doing the same thing now. Adding my own little twist to this. So if you're watching this, I freaking appreciate it. If any of these people have YouTube channels, subscribe to them. Subscribe to Jordan Peterson, Sally K. Norton, Paul Saladino. Do all the things for them. And me too, it's free. Come on. So going forward, I want to try to do my best to keep my diet as carnivore as possible going forward. I always did challenges of like 90 days of it, and then I fall off. Some sugary drinks come my way, stuff like that. Or I invite rice back in or fruits back in. But this time, I want to keep to the strict carnivore for as long as possible. I'm not putting a time frame on it. And if you guys have any questions or concerns on this journey I'm going through and how it's going to work out, please let me know in the comments too. Happy to reply to everyone who comments my way. Even if you have ideas that plants are better, I still want to hear it. I still want to hear every side of this, you know what I mean? That's how we all grow as a species. And if I've changed your mind on a few things by raising up a few topics, let me know about that too. I like hearing everyone's input on diet-related things because it's so nuanced, but it's also based on research. It's like we only have one food group as a species. And it's meat.